Hey guys, we're getting back to regularly scheduled gameplay today. I've got a match between two fighting and metal spread decks. Brandon on Marowak Stantler and myself on RaiEggs. We'll do a quick info dump on each deck and then we'll just go straight into the game. Starting off with the more known deck, today I'm on RaiEggs. This deck uses both Raichu and Executor to threaten spread damage with Zap and Split Bomb. It's also able to threaten Okos with Metallic Thunder and Delta Circle. Usually the deck relies on the disruption of Cessation Crystals and the Stadium cards to sort of further the game plan, but in this matchup they don't come up that much. My list still needs some polish, but I'm a big fan of playing 4 energy removal too. I feel like that twice a game on average energy removal lets me prevent my opponent from making big swing plays that get them back into the game. The list I've been playing on TCG1 lately actually doesn't match what I'm playing in this game. I've swapped to more Thunderwave Pikachu to have slightly better opening turns, and I've added an extra Holon Mentor over the second Holon Researcher, and I've also swapped to Briny for a Pokemon Retriever, and I kind of feel like that functionally serves the same sort of resource preservation role in the deck. Moving over to Brandon's Marowak Stantler, this deck is a sort of toolboxy Stantler deck. It plays heavily into Disruption, of course, looking to use sort of Power Hand Extension to put your opponent in a position where a huge Marowak with like back-to-back spread attacks can just sweep the game. In this way, the main game plan feels quite similar to Kamla, but the deck also plays Mewstar, Fire Mew, and Rayquaza EX, because it's got a full count of Delta Rainbow Energy, and so it can actually get access to them quite easily. This version of Brandon's list is a result of a suggestion I made to up the swoop count, with which he has easier access to make a powered up Marowak or Mew from a Stantler that's been attached to twice. I'm not sure how Brandon would change the deck from here, but I'd personally love to see at least one copy of Scott added to this list. Okay, getting into the game, we've both opened our preferred opener Pokemon. Brandon's got Stantler, so he'll be able to push away in like 2 turns, and I've opened Cast Form, which means that I can start Delta Draw spamming and getting set up even through the resource denial. I'm gonna go first. I think I just dropped a Curse Stone and passed, and then Brandon's got a Lynette to search some more basics. I think he gets a Stantler, Cubone, and Mewstar. Yeah, getting an energy down. And he's just going to pass the turn. You don't want to use Screechy Voice on Cast Form. If you do, it actually dies to the second push away. You'll do Screechy Voice for 10, then you do push away for 20, then you do push away for 20, and it will get KO'd. So you don't actually want to hit it with Screechy Voice because Cast Form is a really good POW target in the late game. Over to me. I've got a Holland Transceiver. I'm gonna actually go ahead and get down a bunch of Pikachu, as my hand is basically just Raichus and energy. In this matchup, you know, Zap won't hit anything. You're gonna see I look at the Executor, the Execute, and I decide I'll leave that till later, discarding a Curse Stone to play the Mentor. In this matchup, as I say though, Zap literally only hits Roselia. Oh no, it hits the Rayquaza EX as well, but like those aren't Pokemon that we'll really see come down. You know, we're not going to get very much value out of Zap, so actually we just want to run through Executors, and yeah, that's my hand. It's as Brandon gets the energy down and push aways. He doesn't have a supporter, which isn't great for him. I'm gonna just evolve both the Raichus and Delta Draw again. But yeah, so you want to be able to get into Split Bomb ASAP. So I think in hindsight, committing to these Raichus is a bit odd. I probably should have just like mentored away one of the Raichus or something and just gone get an Execute and look to draw into an Executor, but at least get my attachments onto something that I do want to power up. And Brandon still has no supporter. He does have an attachment for the Stantler, but I mean, when you're running supporterless in these Stantler decks, actually like committing the attachments is kind of dangerous because you can get just like stuck without proper options. And I'm also going to make sort of a kind of a weird play here. I mean, I say a weird play. It's just like I'm playing the Holland Researcher because I know it's going to get, well, I think it's going to get discarded by push away on the next turn. But actually it's forcing me to discard an energy card. And Brandon can't use push away here. Is if he does, he knocks out the cast form and I get scramble energy. And all he has is 2 Stantlers. So he's got a bit of a conundrum. He doesn't want to take this first KO. He knows I have Executor. He knows I have more scramble energy. So he really, really can't take this KO. And looking at his hand, he's just going to pass the turn over. So yeah, I definitely didn't need to discard the scramble with the Researcher on that previous turn. And, you know, against Stantler decks, really all you need to do is make sure that you have the attachments to be able to close the game out. So that could come back to bite me later. In the meantime, I've got another Researcher. Not Researcher, it's another Mentor. I've got another Mentor. I've got the other. I've like attached that scramble that I was kind of obviously holding, and I'm going to start Delta drawing for a full 5 now. It's just really, really meaty as Brandon's draw passing again. I think he has a bunch of POWs in his hand is the problem, right? So if he was to hand rip me with the push away, he would take a prize, but then he just wouldn't be able, not only would he give me scramble, but he wouldn't be able to use POW when I respond to the Stantler. And that's just like a world of hurt. You just really can't do that. He's top decked a Researcher, so he does have access to go get either a Marowak or a Metal Energy. He goes for the Marowak. I don't like this call. I think he goes for the Marowak because he's got a Scramble Energy in his hand. So he's like, actually can't see. He might have a, yeah, he's not got a Scramble Energy. He's just gone for Marowak. He's energy starved and he's just gone for Marowak. I don't know. I could see this if you're trying to like posture as if you have a Scramble. But like, there's no way I'm taking a knockout. Yeah, he's going to retreat into Roselia. So like, if we got a metal off of that Researcher, we could use Flick Poison and start applying some pressure to my Executors, but that's just not going to happen. And I'm actually going to make a kind of weird play here. I need that double rainbow back, so I'm going to get it off of this Raichu, and I can use Metallic Thunder because I'm not liable to get stuck by confusion or anything, and I'm just going to retreat the cast form. Brandon had to pass, so I get to reattach that double rainbow and start using Split Bomb due to Raichu's free retreat. But the weird bit about that is I'm holding the one-off Brinies, and I could have like completely fixed my board for the rest of the game by Brinying up the cast form there. I would get a Magnemite back, I'd get the cast form back, and then I would have basically access to an endgame where my entire board is evolved attackers. That's really, really useful in these matchups, especially because what Brandon is now able to do, as long as the cast form stays on my board, is just like use power hand extensions to push energy to the cast form, like double rainbows and stuff would just get discarded. Or you could, you know, I mean, I guess as long as I save the Briny for the cast form, you know, it'll be fine. But it's not brilliant, and you know, I think I'm trying to save the Briny for something like this, where Brandon pulls up the Execute and poisons it with Flick Poison as he's drawn another Researcher. So he starts applying that pressure that he was looking to apply earlier. And I'm just gonna let the egg die. I like this. I've got some scrambles that I could make some good use of if this egg were to die. The cast form is ready to die. The egg is ready to die. Everything else on my board can attack already. So, well, can attack or is a Raichu with free retreat. So, yeah, Brandon's gonna flick poison up this Executor, and I'm going to make a bit of a mistake here. I think I've got another... I play the Mentor because I think I have another cast form. I don't. There's 2 cast form attached and 1 on the bench, and I'm just not thinking. So I have to over-attach to this Executor, which is a bit of a shame because it's poisoned, but as I say, I think I'm pretty committed to saving the Brinies to like, basically reuse all the resources on this Executor at this point. Now, Brandon doesn't look like he's particularly drawn into much. He does have the Scramble energy now, but I've been able to target that Marowak. It's got... How much damage has the Marowak got? Hold on. I actually can't see. Yeah, it looks like the Marowak has 60 damage on it, because it's taken a lot of split bombs. And I've also set some damage on the Stantlers. I think, honestly, with the no energy on the Marowak, I think all I need to do is hit it once, and then I can start aggressively chasing the Stantlers. Really, where the energy is where the threat is. These the Stantlers could be swooped into Cubone anyways, and then at that point it's like, all right, well, you know, it's the same. It's actually a faster way to make a Marowak is just swooping one of these Stantlers into a Cubone and then evolving, because they've already got energy on them. But yeah, Brandon's gonna send that admin. He's got an energy down for a Stantler again. I don't know. I wouldn't mind, you know, if you put, like, if you could evolve the Cubone this turn and then attach the metal to it. I guess he doesn't have a Marowak for that, but the metal really like prevents the spread. Because it reduces the damage from split bomb, which you know will really buy him a lot of time with the Marowak that he attaches the metal to. Speaking of the bloody metal, I'm going to research it for a metal, and I am just going to attach it to the damaged Execute, and I really dislike this. I mean, it's fine, but actually, if you do a quick scope of my list and the energy on my board, I've got metal on the active, metal on the benched egg, Magnemite on the benched Executor, and Magnemite in the discard. I only have Briny as my out to move this cast form, and I'm just not thinking about it. I'm just not thinking about it at all. If Brandon were to go for a POW at any time on the cast form, I would only have the Briny to move it, and I just play the Briny for the fun of it, I guess. And I get like that gives me a card back. That gives me back the metal energy that was on that Executor to be able to move it. But then I just immediately reattach. Like I'd like to have seen myself just evolve the damaged Executor and attach a double rainbow there, or potentially, yeah, no, just attach a double rainbow to that. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't like my board is fine though. I've set it up kind of badly. Like I could have set it up better, but I'm in a position where I feel like I have enough energy down on my attackers that I'm ready to start ripping prizes, and I go for a split bomb and take out both of Brandon's Stantler. And yeah, it's Brandon's turn. He's got to make some sort of response to this Executor, and the response he comes up with is send the cast form off of the egg over to the benched damaged Execute. This is why I'd like to have seen myself like evolve the Execute at least, just so that it couldn't die to Flick Poison of all things, which is exactly what Brandon's going to do. He's just going to Flick Poison it up, knock it out. He's still, in doing that, is behind on prizes. He's still got access to POW. He's still got access to his own scramble. And the Pokemon in the active for him is literally just Roselia, and I don't have access to Split Bomb on any of my Pokemon on this next turn, which means if I want to keep attacking and keep putting up the pressure, and I definitely do, I'm going to have to attack with like this Raichu. Now, thankfully that's all right. I'm going to throw an energy removal into the void there. Thankfully that's all right, because Raichu's Zap will do 20 damage. As I mentioned earlier, Raichu actually hits Roselia with Zap, so I can just Zap and take the KO on the Roselia. But yeah, it's just I've set up my board slightly wrong, and it's just kind of going to be a bit more awkward than it needs to be to close out the game from here. But you know, at this point, I've taken 3 prizes in back-to-back turns. It's looking like I'm just going to take 3 more in 3 more turns, honestly, with the attackers that I have set up. So we're really executing the game plan as intended here, and Brandon's really got to figure out what his line is going to be at this point. He decides that the best thing to do is to address the egg. I think that's kind of valid. I mean, I've got 2 Executors left, and if you can address the Executors, you technically can one-shot the Raichus with Marowak. I think the problem is you kind of need to get into a clean Marowak, as otherwise, you know, you're just going to get one shot. You're just going to get one shot by Metallic Thunder, because there is so much energy on these Raichus. And it's pretty tough to get into a clean Marowak when your deck isn't thinned and you're having to admin for 5. He had Power Scramble admin there, and he just goes for the I think it's like Metallic Bone, Metallic Crusher, to set up this Executor to be able to be knocked out on the next turn. And off the admin, I've just got a Scientist, and I'm going to keep drawing out my deck. Thinning out the Cessation Crystals, I really don't need those. I'm just looking for an energy, and I find one, I get a Scramble down. And with that energy, I take the knockout, and I continue my march towards the end of the game. Let's see what Brandon's got. I mean, the Mewstar doesn't have any damage on it. That doesn't particularly matter, because I've got 2 prizes left, and I've got 2 powered up Raichus, and he isn't actually KOing a Raichu here, so I should basically be going to 1 prize remaining with 2 powered up Raichus, which, you know, I think Brandon's only played... Well, how many powers has he played? He powered off the cast form, and then he powered off the scramble. So he's played 2 copies of POW, if I'm remembering correctly. And he'd need I attack with the Raichu. He powers the other energy off the Raichu onto the other Raichu, and so he'd need double POW. As I'm gonna set up both Raichus and just clear some cards from my hand. As actually I didn't mention, but like Brandon took the knockout there by using Mew to copy Delta Circle, which is quite cool. He had 2 Delta Pokemon in play, the Mewstar and the Marowak, so he is able to do 30 damage with Delta Circle there. But yeah, back to the thought. Brandon's got he'd have to have like a really nice double power scramble turn to really reset my board. And even then, if I just go energy, bench out a bunch of Pokemon, because this Marowak isn't a clean Marowak, I can just take the KO with Delta Circle or something. You'd sort of assume, you know, would I'd be able to get it done with like Delta Circle, Delta Circle. So yeah, Brandon's in a little bit of a rough spot here, and he chooses that his only win con at this point is hoping that I've made a mistake, and he goes for the POW on the cast form. And if you remember from like five minutes ago, as I was saying, I don't have any out to retreat the cast form. I kind of I kind of do a quick check of my own discard pile just to make sure, because I'm thinking I don't think I can move this, as Brandon's going to use Darkade on Wobbuffet to put, you know, three power hand extension back in the deck, which I don't think he really needs at this point to do. The 3 power would give him access to like the crazy you know, quad pow, KO all the energy off of the Raichus or something, I guess. But at this point, his game plan is just hoping that the cast form stays stuck. And yeah, I'm gonna do a full double take on the discard. Like, yeah, I really can't move this cast form. Bit of poor foresight from me, as Brandon's gonna start looping resources. I mean, I don't think you need any other Pokemon in your deck at this point. I think he's just like putting targets in so that he can swoop them out, I guess. Yeah, he swoops and then swoops again. The swoops have been really bad this game because I've just been stacking damage on the targets that you would like to use the swoops on. The swoops are good when you're swooping like into a clean Stantler, but in this match, Brandon's just benched his Cubones, and then his Stantlers have had like 40 damage on them in the positions where you'd like to do anything with them. And he's got the admin to 1. I think he's just attaching to the Roselia because he knows he's gonna have to retreat it. I don't think you ever use Flick Poison here because it basically just loses you the game on the spot. In fact, Flick Poison loses you the game on the spot. And I don't think there will be a position where Flick Poison after POW combo will really change anything. So I think we're just thinning with the swoops. And from here, all Brandon has to do is find the energy for the Marowak and start attacking. And I'm sitting there, I know that I don't have an out, but I'm not completely out of the game, because we could clasp our hands and pray that Brandon, you know, uses Flick Poison or hits the cast form at the wrong time, and that gives me an out to win the game. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to draw and I'm going to pass, and Brandon's going to draw and he's going to pass, and he's looking, he's just waiting. He's waiting to draw energy, and he finally does, and he's going to get in there with Marowak and its signature Energy Bone, putting 20 on both of my Raichus. He's going to get another energy down as I have to pass, putting 20 more on the Raichus and now the Executor. And at this point, you can just sort of see how the Marowak deck can really take over if it gets like 2 or 3 uninterrupted Energy Bones. I'm going to sort of fan out my deck. I've got like 5 cards left, but there's no out in there, as Brandon continues to use Energy Bone. Those Raichus are now dead next turn, and if I had an out, I would probably be digging for it, but I don't. So I sit there as Brandon gets another energy bone off, and this one's gonna... Wait, he does a bit of thinking first. I don't know what he's debating. Yeah, but he goes for the energy bone and knocks out both the Raichus. And actually at this point, I don't have an attacker that can Oko the Marowak. And the Marowak is threatening 2 more KOs with energy bone next turn. And as I have no out, I've got to pass over the turn. And the game is gonna go to Marowak Stantler. Yeah, so that's the whole match. I think it's a really cool, really fun match because you get to see both decks doing exactly what they want to be doing, just at different points in the game. I hope you enjoyed. I'll come out with more tournament reports as I play them. I'll still be making more of these gameplay videos because they're what I enjoy making. But thank you for watching. Check out the deck lists at the start of the video and in the description, and have a nice day. Cheers. Bye-bye.